Well, there is no denying it. We have had this conversation for quite some time. A violent few couple of months here in the city, much of it involving gunplay. And according to the stats, there have been 412 shooting victims a little over a week ago. When you break that down, that's about 17% increase over the same time last year. Staggering numbers. Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders joins me now. We're coming off an especially violent weekend, and the one I want to highlight, Chief, is there was gunfire. 1 in the morning, an innocent bystander hit, dozens of bullets flying. I feel like we've been here before.
Yeah, you always have to recognize that we're in an urban city, but having said that, the project that we're looking at is speaking specifically to the issue, which is street gangs and the subculture of street gangs where people will shoot other people having no regard with the public, as you state, where one bullet actually went into a TV.
We met here just a few weeks ago. We were talking about Project Community Space. So this is the 11-week project where a number of resources are being deployed to specific neighborhoods that are needed to tackle guns and gangs. How is that going? Because when someone watches a newscast and hears shooting, 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 well, then they say, well, what is actually being done?
Well, the project is going well. There have been a lot of ongoing investigations. It takes time to close those investigations. But when we look at what we're trying to do, our position is to make sure that we enforce and make those apprehensions for those people that are shooting others. We're also doing things working with the community. I've been out looking for certain agencies to work on what I think is one of the bigger problems, which is the high-risk offenders. When you shoot somebody, they're going to shoot back. Full stop. So the cause of all these shootings are, number one, money because of the gun or the drug distribution, and then the second is retribution. And so the retribution piece is really causing a lot of the play. When we're looking at people that are victims that have also been wanted for attempted murder, that means they've tried to kill someone, and that is what our big problem is. So the high-risk ones are the ones that I'm trying to work personally with agencies and with government to figure out what we can do, because these are the folks that are doing most of the shooting right now.
Let's talk about some of the money, because $4.5 million coming from all three levels of government for that specific project. Just Friday announcing an additional $3 million when it comes to surveillance cameras, CCTV.
Yes.
And that's got some controversy around it. Some people say that's an invasion of privacy when you've got cameras about doubling amount of what we currently have going across the city. And your argument is, and like we've seen in one case in this after-hours club, people aren't talking. People either are afraid to talk or don't want to talk to police about the investigation. So do you think having these cameras will really help?
Well, first off, my argument is not my argument. It is the argument of the mothers in those neighborhoods. When I go to the town halls, they're very specific with things that they want. One of those things are cameras. They don't want their babies to be shot, and if there's anything that can act as a deterrent, they want them. Cameras are the things. There's a number one request that I get. Number two, they have helped on multitudes of investigations. It is an important tool to have. The police won't be surveying those cameras. Something will have to happen before we'll take interest into looking at those cameras. But it is one element of the suite of things that we will have to do to reduce the gun violence that's happening in the city, and we've seen some fantastic results over the years.
Over just the last little while in seeing your frontline officers out there in the neighborhoods that you're specifically targeting, what has been the response from community?
The community the response has been great. I've got different levels of officers. The uniform officers and the community officers are working hand in hand with the investigators in trying to solve these crimes. As we develop stronger relationships with the community, we are ample to get more information that is helping us move certain investigations forward. But the biggest problem I think a lot of people don't call is because they think someone else is going to call, and that's not the case. And so when we talk about the Torrey York homicide, we haven't received any calls yet there are over 100 people that were at that, and a lot would have just walked past this poor gentleman that was deceased. So we're trying to appeal to get people to talk. We're developing relationships to enhance those opportunities for the conversations to figure out how we can collectively keep our communities safer.
Okay, Chief, obviously a lot more work to be done, and this is not short-term. This is a long-term progress that we're looking at.
It took a long time to get here, and it's going to take a while for us to get to where we need to.
All right, appreciate your time, Chief. Thank you very much. Time now is 8:07. We're going to check in with Frank.